Hello and welcome to this particular video on how to add a lesson to your Moodle unit. Turn editing on once you entered the unit, and then in the correct topic space select Add an activity or resource. Find the lesson, select Add as it appears at the bottom, and Moodle will then process the rest. Everything with a red star in Moodle must be completed, so I'm going to give it a title of lesson. Now you'll see that there's the file pop-up at the top. Now if I was going to add a file that I want the students to see, maybe a PowerPoint or a PDF, I'd add that here and it would then allow the students to get that before they sort of start the lesson. Next option down is the progress bar. This shows the students how far they have progressed through the lesson as they're working. And also then you have display ongoing score. Does the student get to see their score if they're attempting it with sort of a quiz element to the lesson? Will they be able to see how well they're doing? Display the left menu is actually a block that appears on the right hand side and shows the navigation for the lesson. So whether this is set to yes, then it will allow the student to navigate freely through the entire lesson and all the pages that are contained within it. The minimum grade to display the menu would then be the factor of if there's a quiz element to this, or sort of question element I should say, what score do they have to have before that left hand menu, as it's termed, or the right hand block would be visible. So it may be that you'd want to set that to 50% of the questions answered need to be correct before that they can see the sort of the left hand menu to navigate through the rest of it. You can operate the lesson as a slideshow. You can also then choose the maximum number of answers. Now this is quite important when planning the lesson, which we'll look at in a separate video. But with a number of answers, you have what are called jumps. Basically, can you jump to the next page, or if you're naming the page it's jumping to, you may have more than one option. If you've got more than 4 options, as you'll see here, what you need to do is change that, and you can change it up to about 20. So it could be that you'd want to jump to 5 or 6 on one particular page, but only 3 or 4 elsewhere. You don't need to use every single answer that is given when you're creating the lesson. However, if at any point it reaches more than 4 potential answers, you'll need to select that now rather than adding it in at a later point. If you choose to use default feedback, this will take into account that you may or may not fill in feedback throughout the particular session, and if there is no feedback found, it will automatically use this is correct or this is wrong. You should also be able to set up a new activity and link to it, so that once you finish the lesson tool, it will automatically jump you to that next activity that you have created. The next section is availability, and this will basically be when the resource is available from. You can also set the time limit that you wish the students to take on it, so it may be that you're setting it as an exam and they only get 20 minutes on it. A prerequisite lesson means that it is dependent on another lesson that they have done. So in the drop down for this, there would be another lesson that they'd have to work through. Flow control allows the student to review it or not if you choose them not to, and how many attempts they're allowed to make through the quiz. After a correct answer, I'd always follow the normal lesson path, as you should be planning this out in a structured way. However, if the content doesn't relate to each other, you could have them work through in a random order and not set it in a particular flow. Thank you very much for watching this video on how to set up the lesson tool.